Helena, good morning. Thanks for the opportunity for this interview. My connection with the college, I was at St Pat's as a student, 1962 to 1967, year 7 to matriculation as it was known in those days. Since then, apparently I've spent about 50 years on community committees associated with the college, including the Old Collegians Association, the Foundation, Pastoral Care, and a few other things. So that has brought me continually in touch with the college in over 50 odd years, plus my academic terms here. So it's been a long journey. Very fruitful and so enjoyable. Well, you get asked, but I had a very positive 6 years at the college as a student, and made lots of friends. And because I was living in Ballarat, it was easier to keep in touch with the college. And so I, at a young age, I was on the Old Boys Committee and would have been by far the youngest on the committee. And I just enjoyed the opportunity to stay connected with the school, to learn what was still happening and what progress was making, and developments in buildings and developments in its sport and care for students. So that was dear to me, and I enjoyed it very much. I had stop-start on committees. I wasn't always able to be, it wasn't a continuous period, but I just enjoyed knowing what the school was doing, and as a volunteer, they're not going to sack you. So I just enjoyed staying connected.
Did you have sons through the...
Yes, I had 2 sons who attended here in the 80s and 90s. Not so much financially, if that's what you may mean. Because I was an old boy, you tended to attract, I was an accountant, a public accountant in my professional life. So I would have had a fair sprinkling of clients who were from St Pat's. That might have been coincidental, or it was, or whether I was sought out, I can't remember. But essentially, I tried to keep that apart. I enjoyed my work in inverted commas as an old boy, and I didn't want that to be mixed up with my professional life. But what the opportunities through being president of the Old Collegians, and I was president of the foundation, and I held a number of executive positions. What it taught me, and it helped me in my professional life, was, I was asked to speak in front of 1,000 or so people on a few occasions, and that was daunting for me when I look back. But it gave me, it had to be done. I was representing a committee, and it was really good for me, for my confidence in, and I wasn't a strong public speaker, but I got through it, and it gave me the confidence in my working life to address meetings and conduct meetings. And so indirectly, I put that down to my experience as a volunteer with St Pat's College community meetings, committees, etc.
You were inducted as a legend. Tell us a bit about that experience and when that was.
Oh, I was very lucky, and I was humbled. I mean, there are things you expect me to say, I guess, but it's very true. It was for, I understand, for my work on committees over a 50-year period as an old boy. And yeah, it was very flattering and a bit overwhelming, but very proud. Yeah, that's a big question. It's hard to say whether, because of your family background, I could say discipline and working as a team and things like that, whether they're from what you inherit from your parents, but certainly consolidated by being a student here. I mean, it was, we were in classes of 70 odd people, and discipline, the poor brothers, they could only get through by a bit of bash and crash. But that being said, as difficult as it was, you come out the other end hopefully unscathed. But so you learnt discipline and you learnt respect for your peers, your teachers, and you learnt respect for fellow students in bigger who were older than you. They were all positive things for me. I came from a small family. I didn't have any brothers. So unfortunately, because of the size of the classes, you didn't get to meet on a basic assessment of who your mates were or who your fellow students were. And I played a fair bit of sport, and I only really got to know people through sport. And since, this might be preempting questions you might ask me later on, but since I've been an old boy and you go to reunions, you meet up with blokes you barely knew, yet they were in your class. And it's been wonderful to meet those blokes, and it's like starting again with them, and you reconnect and say, geez, he's a terrific bloke. How come I didn't, have better connection at school? But I work out that he didn't play in the footy or the cricket or whatever, but through reunions and the various functions that the college has run that enables you to reconnect with people, that's been wonderful. It's just like meeting people for the first time, but you've got that connection. You went to St Pat's. We talk about the good times, we talk about the bad times, and we talk about people and events, and that's been marvellous. Oh, how long's a piece of string? But I see the current students going down the street, after school, and I just smile when I think what it was like in our time. The boarders, boarders and day students going home, you had to wear your cap, you had to have your suit and you're buttoned up, and you're on show. Pardon me. And following behind them on their visits down the street for a bit of shopping, etc., would be the big Falcon wagon, and there would be a couple of brothers following them to make sure they're doing all the right things, they're not being stupid and representing the college. I just laugh at that now when you see the kids now, and there's nothing wrong with it. It's just things have freed up so much, but they wouldn't put up with that sort of pressure, and with different clothes, sense, haircuts. I'm being old-fashioned and going back a long way, but that was very real in our time, and they would have to be inspected. The boarders would have to be inspected before they were allowed to go out, down the street on particular days, etc. So that's just one that the current students would be blown away by if there was videos of of those occurrences, they would go on strike, I reckon. Yeah, if it happened to them now. Oh no, not really. They were. It was tough times, you know. Just the pressure of study. I wasn't an outstanding student, so it was always, you know, stressful. I was conscientious and always wanted to achieve, but it didn't come easy. I'm pleased all that's gone. Because of my involvement with the school, I've been able to stay in touch, and so a lot of the stuff that perhaps you might think I missed, I'm still enjoying. I see the success the school has in various things, and so many. It was pretty much just sport, and that was a criticism of my day, that, you know, we didn't concentrate enough on arts and other things, and it's great to see that the wings have been spread, and the college gets acknowledged for its all-round offerings to the public. Well, you know, I got warnings of these questions, and I struggled with that particular one. It's not that they didn't exist, but they exist so much more now, and I think it's just the transition of time. You know, the brothers are no longer administering education at this level. Edmund Rice organisation does, but hands-on day to day, and I think we've obviously come a hell of a long way. So those four core values are so much stronger and relevant and evident now. Compassion, that's part of it. Our Indigenous program, we had some Asians, we had Nauruans in my time, not many, but the Indigenous program is famous here. It's been a landmark, and it's put St Pat's on the map from that point of view, where they give opportunities in sport with scholarships for our Indigenous students. Yeah, solidarity, we linked together, you know, during that bad times with the sexual abuse. We joined hands, and big statements were made, and we became very public and supportive of the people affected, and I think that's been well known. I've got a lot of friends who are old boys, and still meeting them. Just recently I was on holidays and met up with a 89-year-old in tropical Queensland, and won't go through, it's pretty boring, but hey, you know, we had something in common when we said, who are you and why are you here? And Ballarat, yeah, I went to school in Ballarat. Well, anyway, we had coffee together, and the wives met, and he had wonderful stories, and I think Laurie Liston has interviewed him, and so that's never ending. So things like that happen. So you continually, every function you go to, you don't know who you're going to meet. There's always someone that you don't know, and you connect with. So the beauty of staying in touch with the college is wonderful, because you're coming in touch with people that you may have been aware of in your school time, but didn't know them well enough, and so those opportunities are being created all the time, and they're wonderful.
How can an old boy stay connected to the college? What's a way of...
Well, we have an extensive database, and unless you say you don't want to have any connection, you will be sent information on reunions, etc. And that's the best way, is to go to your reunions, which it might be 10, 20, 30 year, not terms, but every 10 years a milestone reunion. And I think that they are growing, and from that, you know, some blokes may not have had great experiences. They may have had a couple of bad occasions at school, but the underlying thing is the mateship. The blokes, the school might have been to blame, but your mateships stay forever, and for no other reason, stick with your mates, turn up, and if you feel shy about it, just pick out a mate and say, hey, we're going. Some people may not want to turn up by themselves, but the best way is to bring along a mate, and you'll find 30 or 40 other mates in the same boat. And then hopefully the love affair continues after that.
What could they do?
At school now, yes. Well, I think it's well known we have the Chris Young Foundation, which helps families struggling with what you're saying. We have a pastoral care section of the old collegians, which is funded by the foundation, where we reach out to people who have struggled either through a bereavement in the family, and in a number of ways they are supported, both financially, other material things, with just helping with jobs. So they're advertised, so the support base is there.
St Patrick's College is 130 years old. Why is it important to preserve our heritage and history?
Yeah, well, we've got to go forward. You can't keep looking back, but to go forward, you've got to look back. Where have we come from? And the thing on heritage and culture are probably very similar things. They're intangibles, but you've got to experience, you've got to be an old boy, you've still got to stay connected to feel that, oh yeah, this is what it was all about, and it's still existing. You know, you turn up to a footy match and watch the school play, you go to a stage show, you go to, you think this is St Pat's, and this is what's been going on for many, many years. It's so important that we don't lose that, and it's only going to get better. The material, the physical attributes are here, the assets are here to support all that. So I would hope that it would never alter. 130 years, I remember the 100-year celebration and the 125, there've been big functions, and it's a great reminder of where we're coming from, or where we've been. And the culture, whatever that means, it is intangible, but you know it's in a room when you turn up to a function. And you know, most times you just kick off from where you left off with your mates of 30, 40 years ago. I reckon that's culture. Yeah, aero rum thing, yeah. There's been a few minor adjustments to it, but it's amazing when you meet up with an old boy, and he'll come out, starts blurting out the war cry, and I'm thinking, geez, you know, he remembers the war cry. So different things for different people, but that's part of it, isn't it? You know, whatever what you remember, I'm glad they remember things like that than being bashed up by someone in a classroom. So it obviously was very important to have that that song or the war cry. Yeah. And I recall a number of functions. We finish off the night with the war cry. We don't sing God Save the Queen or the King. We have the war cry. So we say, fueled with alcohol, it gets louder and stronger. But that's not a bad way to finish off a night with old boy mates.
Do you have a message or a story, something about faith to share with others that we may not have asked? Is there something that you'd like to tell us?
I think that over the years there's been many teachers, brothers and lay teachers that spent many years here, and it's important that they're remembered. They had faith. It wasn't just their oh look, I won't get a job elsewhere, you know, I'll stick around. They had faith, religious faith. They had faith in the system. They protected the students and took a lifelong interest in them after they left school. And I'm not going to mention, whoever's going to see this interview will know they could draw on names as well. But I think I was inspired by their faith in the college and their dedication to the Edmund Rice traditions.